live. Yeah, we going live. Hey, we going live. Yeah, we going live. Yeah, we going. Yeah, we going. Yeah, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line. Hey.
Hello, beautiful people.
Hello.
I am Jarrett, the football genius Burgess.
And I'm Stephanie Fitzpatrick, a.k.a. the Advantage Coach.
And this is episode 85 of the Field to the Real podcast. It is moving along, and I say that every week, but it really is.
Yes.
It's the
just
beginning
so exciting.
of November.
So excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Like, literally, just so excited.
We are having to get the planning underway for our 100th episode. And I'm super excited about it. Like I talked to, shout out to my guy, L. I talked to him yesterday. And I told him about the 100th episode, and he's going to attempt to make his way down.
I hope he can come.
So yeah,
I hope he can come.
that'll be a dope one for him to like actually come and be on with us. So
yes, absolutely. Yeah. That's gonna be a 2-hour show right there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So y'all get ready for it. Y'all prepare yourself. I know some of these other podcasts out here y'all be listening to, they be like 3 and 4 hours long. So you can listen to us for 2 hours.
2 hours. You can give us 2 hours. It's okay.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, all right,
but I'm excited.
Me too. Yeah. I'm super excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's jump into our 2 Who's Really Rights for today.
Y'all, we couldn't make it. We're just pitiful. Okay,
yeah,
pitiful.
Yeah. We saw both of these. I looked at both of these when you had put them in the
notes.
Yeah. And I was like, oh well, both of those will be a 2 Who's Really Right, because I already know which way she leaning on both of them.
But I surprised you.
You did. You did surprise me with the first one. You did,
mm-hmm.
And it's funny because ours is definitely in conflict to one another. Because so let's just get to the first one. The first Who's Really Right is, who's the better AFC team, the Steelers or the Chiefs? Now, for those of you who are listening, we know that the Steelers are Stephanie's second NFL team. Yes. Because, the Falcons ain't doing too well this year. And
that wasn't necessary.
I know. I had to throw that dig in there.
Oh, okay. As long as you say the one with your team, too. They don't even have a name.
Well, my team ain't got no name.
They don't even have a name. So.
And remember, they're not my team again until Daniel Snyder sells them. So I am a Seahawks fan. Go Hawks.
Oh, my gosh. Just fair weather, y'all. I can't do it. Can't do it.
I've been riding with that trash for 30 years.
Wow. Well, then there's that.
But so I said that to say, I didn't have to add the part about the Falcons. I said that say that you are going to be surprised of whose side Stephanie is taking with this Who's Really Right. So I'm going to let you go first. Who's the better AFC team, the Steelers or the Chiefs?
Y'all don't know how hard this is. You cannot fathom how hard this is for me to say. It hurts my heart, literally. But I'm a sports person first over fandom, okay? And so in my mind and in what I've seen, I feel like even though the record doesn't reflect, I feel like the Chiefs are the better team. I do. And I say that because of one person, Patrick Mahomes.
My homeboy. Shout out to
I like that. My homeboy, yeah. So he is by far the most complete and dynamic quarterback I've seen.
Yeah.
Period. Like, you can pretty much find all of the best parts of all of the great quarterbacks that we've ever seen in this dude. Like, literally, the only thing that he's human. And so there's the possibility of injury is the only thing that I think that can stop him at this point. So I just feel like as long as he's healthy this year, there is very little that I think other teams, because even the game they lost, I do not think it was, I think they kind of went into it with a lackadaisical attitude, if you want me to tell you the truth. Because historically last year they were coming back in every game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they were always having to come back. This year they've come out punching. That game, they looked like Chiefs from last year. And so I feel like because they were lackadaisical about the way that they came out, they had to, they just had to take that L. But I feel like they are on track now, very focused. As long as everybody stays healthy, I think that's the caveat for any team at this point. As long as they stay healthy.
And COVID-free.
Well, that includes COVID. Yes, that is a health part. I feel like they can't be stopped. They can't be stopped. The defense is good enough. I'm going to say that. It's good enough. And the offense is dynamic. Period.
So I certainly agree with the offensive dynamics. Actually, I agree with both of them. The offense is dynamic. Well, no. So I was about to make the statement. They're probably the best offense we've seen since the greatest show on turf. But I don't know that they have a running back like Marshall Faulk.
Yeah, no.
Like, Edwards-Helaire is pretty good. Maybe if Le'Veon comes back and he's his old self. I
don't know. That kid is pretty good. I don't know.
He is, but I want to say after that first game where he broke out and had one of the best games for a rookie, his numbers were real pedestrian after that. Like, I don't think he's had another 100 games rushing, 100-yard rushing game.
Who's their coach? Who's their coach?
Andy Reid. But if you look at the amount of carries, it's not for a lack of touches. It's more so, one, they are throwing the ball a lot, but I don't know if it's that other defenses are selling out to stop the run, or
that would be dumb.
But with that team, absolutely. Which
that would be dumb.
To my point,
yeah.
I would assume that he would get more yards, because with the touches that he does get, you would say, like, if you all are trying to stop the pass and you're putting extra people in coverage, there should be a few more running lanes.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I disagree, it may have something to do with my bias about defense and feeling like defense does win championships. But I truly feel like a great defense will always be the great offense. And I'm looking at this Steelers defense, and the reason why this is this who's really right was kind of a thing, because a few weeks ago I really tried to discredit this team.
You did.
But my eyes definitely believe what they've been seeing, and this defense is great.
They're amazing.
And I can't wait for them to play. I believe they play next week,
if
I'm not mistaken, because I want to see if my theory is correct. This defense, from the secondary to the linebackers to the D-line, is stacked.
Oh, yeah.
This is a really good defense. And so I won't say the same thing about the Raiders defense, which is the team that they lost to, because obviously they put up like tons of points.
Yeah.
But the Raiders defense played well in spots during that game. And particularly third down, which that's one of those stats.
They rarely get to.
Right. But that's one of those stats that correlate into, like, it correlates into wins. If you're not getting third downs, if you're not getting first downs, you're not moving the ball.
Down. Right.
And you're not scoring points. So that was one of those games where, their third down conversion percentage wasn't great. And I think that spoke to how the Raiders played in spots. I think the Steelers have the opportunity, to hold them to under 3 touchdowns. I think we see that game a 24-21, 24-17 type of game.
Okay.
And that's after a couple of more weeks of watching this defense. Like, their secondary is legit. I don't know how they pulled off a trade to get Minkah Fitzpatrick, but it feels criminal. It feels criminal. But I like, what's the TJ Watt?
Yeah.
Bud Dupree. Like, this is a stacked defense. So I'm gonna have to go with the Chiefs.
I don't. You're going with the Steelers. I know. Steelers. You were right.
Hey, y'all, don't y'all go out there and vote and say, oh, well, Jarrett said the Chiefs too, so and try to get at who's really right away.
Yeah, but I see. Back to the Vegas game with the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. They rarely get to third down.
Right.
I'm looking at a stat right now that says their average drive lasts 3 minutes.
Wow. That's crazy.
3 minutes.
They're scoring that fast.
Just choop, 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 down the field.
Down the field, yeah.
Straight down the field. So, you don't give people a chance to get you in third down too often when you play like that. And so, again, this is so hard for me because I believe in the Steelers so much. But I just feel like, I don't know. That will be the game. Listen, that'll probably be better than the Super Bowl right there.
Yeah.
Game right now.
I have it as my AFC championship.
Yeah.
Like, so I have, on one side, I have Steelers Chiefs. Mm-hmm. The other side, I have Seahawks Bucks.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. If Tom Brady continues to play them. Yeah.
Well, he just got Antonio Brown, so I don't even know.
Again, we don't know what that's going to do. Look.
They talked about how he came into practice in great shape. So, okay. I don't know.
Clearly this was a Tom Brady ask.
Yeah.
So he felt something when he was there with him in New England. So, we'll see. I really do feel like they have a good shot at making it this year, though, if he continues to play like he is.
Yeah.
But the only other thing is we're sleeping on Green Bay.
So I'm not sleeping on Green Bay, and I understand what they did last night, but that defense.
Well, it was the 49ers. That don't count.
Right. But that defense isn't anywhere near what's needed to compete for a championship. It's just not. Yeah. Like,
I give you that.
They got holes on all levels. And it showed against Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
That was ugly. That was
real. That
ugly.
was ugly. That was ugly.
But we're certainly sleeping on Aaron Rodgers.
Like, I think that's what I really mean. Because I love myself. Aaron Rodgers, so.
Yeah. He's the man. I was looking at the way that pass on fourth down last night that he threw to Devontae Adams. Like,
listen.
No other quarterback is trying to fit that right there.
Listen. He is. And he's so cool about it. I just love it. I don't know what it is. I just love it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
So, but yeah, who's really right? Y'all let us know on that one.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I'm sorry.
On that one.
You let us know who's really right. Stephanie says the Chiefs. Jarrett says the Steelers. Who's really right?
Steeler fans, I love y'all. Steeler Nation, I love
I think
y'all.
I might get this one.
I love y'all. That's all I can say is I love y'all.
I think I might.
This is not me betraying you. I promise you.
Yes, it is.
Oh Lord!
It's just like when Ryan Clark a couple of days picked against him, and then it was like, man, you won a Super Bowl with the Steelers.
Listen, Stephen A. was giving him all kind of grief about. Oh my Lord!
Look, then he tried to pull his terrible towel out. Man.
I said, you so silly, but yeah, no, I'm Steelers. I love y'all. Real talk. Okay,
all
the
right.
other one.
Trevor Lawrence. Okay, yeah. So Trevor Lawrence caught COVID. Sorry.
Not caught COVID. That's the positive. COVID.
He caught the Ronas. No, Trevor Lawrence tested positive for COVID. And he was, before this, a Heisman front runner. The Heisman Trophy goes to, for those of you who don't know, the Heisman Trophy goes to the best player in college football.
According to the voters.
According to the voters, yeah. And it, much like, all awards, they're voted on by the media.
Coaches. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think certain media members get, a ballot to vote. And that's how the NFL MVP, the NBA MVP, all of those awards, first, second, third team, all NBA and all of that, the Heisman Trophy, those awards are voted on by the media. And so because Trevor Lawrence tested positive for COVID, he had to sit out last Saturday's game against Boston College. And this Saturday's game against Notre Dame, he'll have to sit out as well. And because of this, people are saying that he is no longer in the race for the Heisman. And so our who's really right for this one is Trevor Lawrence testing positive for COVID. Is it fair that removes him from the running of the Heisman Trophy? Yeah. Stephanie, is
I guess it's okay. First. I was about to say, I guess you're waiting on me to say something. So we knew this had to be a who's really right after we had the conversation. But it was like relentless.
Right.
Relentless. Like, no, my point is right. No.
Right.
No. This is one of those truly, sometimes we agree, like we can have these who's really rights, and really deep down in the recesses, we know, like your argument would have switched me or helped me see that your side is correct. Or
I was just about to say that. Like, we've had a lot of who's really rights where it's one of those things like, well, I could argue both sides. Yeah. Right. And so it's this one is a true who's really right. Because we were like, we were dug in on points. Yeah. No. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you good. We were saying the same thing. So for me, I do not feel like this is fair to him. Much like someone who sustains an injury, that when that person is able to come back at least and continue to perform at the level that they were that had them in the running in the first place, then I think that they should be fairly evaluated on what they've done on the field, whether it was 10 games, 8 games, whatever it was. But if you had them in the running, because I see it like this: if it was a person who was hurt at the beginning of the year and they never got to be on the radar, that's different.
Right.
But there's somebody who's on the radar, and then something like this happens. This is no different than an injury. And so counting him out completely, I'm not saying he has to be the front runner, but counting him out completely is just, it's not fair. It's wrong. It's just wrong. Like, I don't know another way to put it. It's just wrong. Because assuming that he comes back and he is able to continue to play at a level that he has been. And he's been consistently at playing at this level, not just this year. You know what I mean? And so he's not one of these people that just had a really good year and now, all of a sudden he's in, you know what I mean? Like, he's consistent. I know they don't factor in that, but they, in their mind, it's biased on some level. They do. They have to. So I feel like it is unfair to Trevor Lawrence to punish him for something that he had no control over, which is the same as an injury. People don't go get hurt on purpose. I'm sure whoever it was that he caught, as you said, it caught Rona from, it wasn't a purposeful thing. It was just something that happened. And so I feel so strongly that should, and the other thing I talked about when we talked about this in production meeting was similar to, you just mentioned all of these other accolades. This is an accolade. Like, this is not, you choosing to pick somebody for the draft or, or something that has to happen. Like we talked about people being cut for injuries. And so for me, my thing is that's different because you're talking about what affects the team. This is an individual accolade. And so he should be able to be judged regardless of how many games he plays. And I know where you're going, so I'm not going to mention it. Regardless of how many games he plays, that he should still have the opportunity to be reviewed for this award.
Yeah.
Not his fault.
Well, I think you all know that I disagree. And it's something that you said that kind of makes me like feel stronger in my argument of this. It's like you said, it's like an injury, right? So, contracting COVID, it's looked at as an injury.
You could have said catching.
Huh?
You could have said catching COVID.
I wanted to sound a little more professional. Contracting COVID. But it's like an injury. And just like an injury that would happen to someone else that would take them out of the race or the running for, COVID is doing the same thing. And so my issue with him still being in the running is, while it's not your fault that you contracted COVID, it's similar to you had an injury, which isn't your fault. Like a few weeks ago, we talked about that, right? And that getting paid. That ankle injury wasn't his fault, but it undoubtedly will affect him getting paid this year, which is unfair, but it's the reality of football, especially football, where you see like catastrophic injuries like this. Now, COVID can be catastrophic, like people have succumbed to COVID.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But some of these football players that we've seen, they've come back, and we don't even know the extent of how it is and will affect them going forward. But I believe that by leaving Trevor Lawrence in the conversation for the Heisman, you take away the achievements of some of the other people who will be going into being a finalist, right? If I'm a player and I've played at the level or above where Trevor Lawrence is right now, and I played 10 games, and he's only played 8, and when the finalists are called, Trevor Lawrence is in that 8 and I'm not, I would be upset about that. Like, truly, it's not fair that you contracted COVID and had to miss 2 games, but I didn't contract COVID. And I you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't contract COVID, and I played all of the games, and I was stellar. And because I feel like if it was any other player other than Trevor Lawrence, this wouldn't even be a conversation. And statistically, I feel like Justin Fields is having a better season, even though it's only been a couple of games. But I mean, like per game averages, you know what I'm saying, and completion percentage.
But that's the same thing. Your argument was about the games played. So he just started. Trevor Lawrence been playing since the beginning.
Yeah, true.
So I don't care about your stats then. We throwing them all out if you ain't played the whole season, then bunk it.
Well, okay. I guess to your argument, you're gonna say that Trevor Lawrence not playing 2 games is equivalent to the Big Ten saying that we can't start the season until this time.
Because that wasn't Justin Fields' fault either.
That goes back to my original point a few months ago where we talked about throw out the accolades for this year. Mm-hmm. Because none of it is going to be fair.
Even as when we had this conversation, I even talked about, we can't talk about the amount of games that they play that makes the as part of the criteria, because we about to how they about to figure out how the playoffs and rankings and all of this stuff goes when half the teams just started playing 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
true. The Pac-12 haven't even played yet. They start this week.
Yes.
So I do agree with that part. Like the amount of games shouldn't matter, right? But the criteria for a lot of these voters is what you do in big primetime games. And if you are injured for a Notre Dame game, being Clemson, who, because they play in the ACC, the ACC,
okay.
and not a league like the SEC or the Big Ten, because they play in the ACC, like that limits the amount of quality performances that he has, because we're not going to rank the same performance that he has against Wake Forest that he has against Notre Dame. And so when the voters go to vote and they say, okay, he passed for 500 yards against Wake Forest, but he was absent due to COVID, then when we look at a Justin Fields and we say, well, he played against Michigan, he played against Penn State, he played against, Wisconsin, like he has these quality performances. And so while the number of games, isn't maybe something that we need to harp on, the quality of his performances might be a thing that I would say has to remove him from the conversation.
And I'm not, I guess my thing is, I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence should automatically be winning the Heisman Trophy. I'm saying he shouldn't be out of consideration for the Heisman Trophy based on this, when you got all these other factors that have also been honestly a result of COVID that are involved right now, like the fact that Justin Fields just started 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like all of this is really because of COVID. So you can't, either you do what you said months ago, we just gonna throw this out, or you can't punish this kid for not being able to play when it's not his fault.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all see why this is who's really right. Because nobody's turning us. Nobody's like.
You usually hear like, okay, I can see that, or something like that. We both just like, yeah.
No. Mm-hmm,
yeah. To go back to, and we're going to transition from this in a second, but to go back to something you said about like injuries and that being a part of the team, right?
Yeah.
I think for any NFL player, or any NFL hopeful, I'll say, making a team or making a roster is an accomplishment in and of itself, right?
Yes.
It's not. It's not for the individual person. It's something for the team, but for the individual person, this is the culmination of your hard work and dedication, stuff like that. And so making a roster for an NFL team is an individual accomplishment, right? NFL teams don't care about that, right? Not from the standpoint of we are going to hold this roster spot for this player.
Right.
You know, and so a lot of it really is not fair. You know what I'm saying? And so I can at least come over to you and agree that it's not fair, right? But the thing about it is none of it's fair.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And so I guess that's the reason why I'm so stuck in the sand on this one is because none of it's fair.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we can't attempt to make it fair for Trevor Lawrence because none of it's fair.
Well, I don't know if and it's something you said that I don't know that I would agree with either. If this was, even when this was Lamar Jackson,
mm-hmm.
I was of the mindset that he needed to still be considered for what he had done.
Well, what was that, his junior year?
Mm-hmm.
I think? Because he wanted his sophomore year.
Yes.
His junior year was the ankle injury, I believe.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. And who won it that year?
I'm horrible with this kind of stuff.
It's escaping me. We'll come back to that. I don't want to, waste dead air on it, but it wasn't fair. He still had a great season, but I would have to see who the person was that won to finish that argument.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll leave it alone.
Yeah.
Y'all just let us know who's really right. We can be on this for the whole rest of the show, honestly. So.
Trevor Lawrence out of the Heisman race. Is it fair? Stephanie says, no, it's not fair. Jarrett says, it's not fair, but it's like.
No. Jarrett says, yes, it's fair.
It's fair. Because it's all unfair, it's all fair. You like the way I twisted it?
I like how you twisted that one. It's all unfair, so it's fair.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Now put the cameras on me, 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 put the cameras on me.